Hey everybody, what is up? It is Blue and welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are ya? Happy Thursday. I hope you guys have all had a great day. Girl, I am now sitting down to get into some tea, some drama with you. We've got quite a few things going on that I want to get into. Girl, let's get into it. Let's go. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is going to be Shelby and Rich Lux. If you guys didn't see, I did previously make a video on this whole thing with Shelby and Rich Lux falling out. I made a video a couple of months ago and then like nothing happened. And then like the day before yesterday, Rich Lux contacted me and said, yep, he has fallen out with Shelby. He's not speaking to her, knowing that I would then go ahead and make a video about the situation. So we've got some more to talk about with this situation. And it's not something that I enjoy talking about because it's talking about the breakup of a friendship of two people that I actually like. So before we get started getting into the whole Shelby and Rich Lux drama, I am going to get into the fact that, you know, before Shelby had spoken out about Rich on Twitter and before I'd been sent any receipts of any conversation or anything like that, before like I was involved at all, you know, you had people like Dustin Daly make videos on Rich Lux talking about him and his behaviour, how bad of a friend he allegedly was. You had people like Petty Page speaking out on Van Luke's live stream. Then you had people like It's Me Vanessa making video saying, oh, Rich Lux was a terrible friend. Rich Lux treated her like, you know, somebody who was poor or somebody who was working for him. Now, what I've had since I made my video on this, what I've had is Shelby contacting me saying, hey girl, why didn't you get my side of the story? Which, yeah, okay, you know, I can take accountability for that. That is a fair point. Because I actually didn't ask Shelby for her story before I made my video. You know, I had the information that I had from Rich Lux and from Chime. And I went ahead, made my video about the situation, didn't actually think to ask Shelby. It was nothing malicious in me. You know, I've spoken to Shelby and I've said that I don't want to fall out with either her or Rich over any of this. But, you know, I do admit that it was wrong of me to maybe rush and make a video and not ask Shelby for her side of the story first. So like I can totally admit that, you know, I was at fault there not asking Shelby for her side of things. So Shelby had a very kind of long conversation with me last night and we were talking about Rich and the situation and everything. And Shelby also kind of said to me that she used to feel sometimes that Rich would treat her like somebody who was an employee rather than a friend. You know, it's something that I've heard from a few people about Rich Lux now. And Shelby was kind of making the point that, well, hang on a minute, you know, if all these people are coming out saying Rich Lux treated me like an employee, not like a friend, Rich Lux asked me to carry this and that for him, Rich Lux asked me to make this phone call, whatever, you know, Rich Lux asking friends to do things in a way that they feel they're being spoken to like they're his employees. You know, that was the kind of general gist of the conversation with Shelby last night. Shelby has since put up a lot of information on her community tab on her own YouTube channel. It's Shelby. I did read through all of it. I'm not going to read through all of it in this video purely because it's all up on Shelby's community tab and you guys can go and see that there. But Shelby goes into detail about everything that happened with her and Rich Lux in their friendship to cause their kind of falling out. Again, you know, there's talk in there of being spoken to like an employee rather than a friend. There's talk of the situation with Luscious, Rich's other ex-friend. Shelby goes on to say that Rich was kind of obsessed with Luscious and wouldn't leave it alone because Luscious had got successful. Now, you know, Rich has chimed in with me and kind of said his side of things. From Rich's perspective, he says that he feels that people coming out making videos about him like this, ex-friends talking about him, he says he feels that they're doing it because he's been successful with his YouTube channel and all this kind of stuff. And then I've got a completely different story from Shelby last night. And it's not even that I want to sit here and expose Rich and expose his lifestyle and all of that. You know, plenty of other people have done that in their videos about Rich. As I said, you know, I'm not trying to fall out with either Shelby or Rich, you know, and people don't like that. People will be like, oh, girl, you're sitting on the fence. It's not that I'm sitting on the fence. It's that I don't actually know these people in person. I've never met them. And Shelby, to me, does seem very level-headed. So I don't think that she's the type to lie about stuff. Also with Rich, you know, I know that Rich is who he is. He's this kind of comedy clown character, you know, and everything's a little bit extra. What I heard from Shelby last night was that there'd been like an instance where Rich had asked her to make a phone call. She couldn't because she was dealing with family things and other stuff. He'd asked her to make some phone call for food or an appointment or something. And Shelby said no. Apparently Rich Lux then like shouted at her and didn't treat her very nicely. That's the side of things that I'm getting from Shelby. Also, Shelby has this problem with the fact that Rich and Chime body shamed her as well, which to me, yeah, okay, it's never nice to like body shame anybody, you know, it's not cool. But to me, I don't personally take offense to that. You know, I've had my own struggles with weight and body image during my life, but I don't personally take offense to that. The trouble is, not everybody is like me. And, you know, of course, a lot of people will take offense to a fat joke. So Shelby was upset about being body shamed. She was upset last night with me during our conversation. She was upset about that. That was the main kind of thing that had really upset Shelby, being body shamed. That was the thing that had really upset her. So that's what I got from our conversation last night. Of course, like I said, she's put up a lot of details on her community tab. She's put up a whole statement up there about how things have gone with her and Rich. There's talk about Luscious there, everything. It's like the whole kind of timeline of their friendship is up there on that community tab. It's like 4 or 5 pages. It's extremely long. So, you know, I don't doubt that Shelby has had like her experiences with Rich. Like I say, I prefer not to kind of judge somebody until I've actually had my own experiences with them. And me having never met Rich or Shelby, I'm not trying to pick a side in this, whatever's going on between them. I'm really not, you know, but I just think it's sad that it's come to the breakdown of a friendship. You know, again, this is like the whole thing with Rich Lux and Luscious Massacre, you know. It's a breakdown of a friendship all over again that we're seeing play out online because people chose to go public with the information rather than kind of keep it behind closed doors. Rich has told me a few things. He said that his assistant Elton, like, has said to him that he wasn't really comfortable around Shelby, that he thought Shelby wasn't a great person. Then what I've got from Shelby is the whole thing that Rich isn't a great person. So I'm getting 2 completely different stories from both of these people, and it's kind of hard to know who out of these 2 is really telling the truth. Shelby did make the point to me, well, you know, hey girl, if like loads of people are telling you that Rich Lux is, you know, a bad person, then, you know, they can't all be wrong. That's what Shelby's telling me. And I'm like, well, my only thing with that is, you know, I don't know, it could be some kind of game plan to try and take Rich Lux down. I really don't know. You know, that's why I kind of don't really trust people on the internet so much. I'm like, what's their motive? You know, is it because they want to take Rich Lux down, or is it because Rich is genuinely not very nice when the camera's turned off? Personally, I do think that Rich Lux might have a little bit of a problem, like thinking that people are trying to take him down when they're not. I don't know, because Shelby to me also did say that. She did say, you know, this is why Rich doesn't have friends, because he ends up cutting them off because he thinks that they're going to try and use him, or he thinks that they're, you know, trying to get views or clout out of him. So Shelby said to me, that's why Rich tends to cut a lot of people off. That's why he says he doesn't have friends. And I'm like, okay, well, it kind of makes sense, you know, the fact that people have come out and said what they've said about Rich. But, you know, is Rich a little bit kind of insecure maybe in himself, in that he thinks because he's maybe been successful on YouTube and made a little bit of money that people are just out to use him rather than be his friend? You know, it's sad because we saw the friendship with Dustin, Paige, Nick, and, you know, they don't speak to Rich now as far as I'm aware, but it's sad. It's very sad. Like, you know, those were friendships that had been around for years, and it's like, I wish that everybody in the drama community could just get on with each other, but clearly, you know, no, we've got to fight, you know. I don't know, girl. Anyway, I'm going to stop this video here. I'm going to say take care, stay safe, stay well. Like I said, I'm not putting the whole, you know, statement from Shelby in this video because she's put her side of the events across, you know, quite well over on her community tab. So I will link her channel down below and you guys can go and read that if you're at all curious. She's told me that she doesn't want to make an exposed video on Rich Lux and she's not going to do that. That's not her nature. And I respect that, you know. So as it stands, I respect Shelby, I respect Rich, and I'm going to leave it there. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.